Hey everybody, I just wanted to do a quick flip through of the first quarter of 2025 in my Cocoa Daisy notebooks, January, February, March. So just gonna start here with January. So this is how chunky it is. Alright, make sure I'm in frame here. And in some of my videos I've shown or talked about how, this was one of the larger adhesive pockets, and I just trimmed it and then put the punch there, and then I use it sideways this way. So this one was actually Nordic Nights. The word was not correct, so I just took the alpha and put over it. And then this was the pen test and everything kit card, and I just take and put a little sample of each washi on there. So, and this one I just used packing tape on the cover. So, and then I took the washi and this was a dashboard, and I just took the washi and did the diagonal. This is the acetate, and I just cut it down to size. My calendar, and then my weeklies. I didn't really use my weeklies much, or as much. And then my weekly thing, that was where I was doing the Fat Mom Slim photo a day, or trying to. It didn't work out, but that was the list for January. And then we start our dailies. So actually, let me see if I can zoom in a smidgen more. Okay, there we go. So yeah, nothing really too exciting. This was a screenshot off of Facebook. We smoked a chicken on our smoker. I got a safety recall notice in the mail, so I just stuck it in there after I showed it to my husband. I tried freeze drying these, the Christmas nougats. They did not do well. Winter storm watch, they were saying we were going to get some snow. This was my grandfather's birthday. That's me and him. And then in January, I was writing the weather, the high and the low, and then, just some information about the weather. This, I think, was oh no, it was just a piece of the paper that I cut out. We did get weather. So we did get some snow. So again, I just put there and put one of the stickers. This was my grandparents' anniversary, so this was actually the photo taken the day after their wedding. So and then again, this was just a something I found on Facebook that I liked, so I printed it. Pictures of something I made for dinner, and then just the moon. We went out to a place called Tequila Mama it's not far from our house, so that was a picture of what I got. Some people collect shoes. I collect mason jars. Yes, I do. We went to the DeKalb Farmers Market. I went with some friends of mine. And we ate at this place, Top Spice. And then this was my receipt for what I got. And this was just a brochure that they had there, and I just cut the first page off. So, and that's what I got. I wasn't crazy about it. The inauguration, the MLK quote, pictures of my dog and what I had for breakfast. It snowed again. So yeah. Don't remember what that was. Oh, our homestead group. We were getting a homestead group together, so that was kind of the info. I got this stupid little spirograph. I say stupid little. I got this spirograph at Tractor Supply, maybe. And so I was just doing the spirographs, like, for a lot. So here's a whole bunch of them. And that's when Lake and Riley was at UGA, and UGA, I'm not far from UGA, so that was hit kind of close to home. So there's some more of the spirographs. And then this was when the American Airlines jet collided with the Black Hawk helicopter, so I just printed out the Facebook from NBC News. Same thing here. This was WSB, which is our local news station, when the medical transport jet crashed. This was information about my dog, my weight. And then the meal plan, I just, had meal ideas, and then this is where I was writing down grocery lists and what we had to eat, my reading list, and my wish list in here. This was just a piece of acetate that was like a trim. I trimmed it off. I started printing out MyFitnessPal. I didn't keep going. So, and then the bow with the notes, and then again the back I just used packing tape. So there's January. February, she's a little chunky too. Now this one actually, during the month I had this paper clip down at the bottom, but with it sitting on my shelf, the bottom doesn't do well, so I switched it to be on the side. So let's flip through some February. So it was Penelope. And again, here's my little samples or swatches of my washi tape on this. And then I actually used the highlight card and just put down some of the big things from this month. So again, there's the acetate, the calendar, and then my weeklies. And then my This Week tab. And then here I had found this, just the astrological events from Live Storm Chasers, and I just put it on there because I thought it was cool. This is the dailies. So again, I was doing the weather. I'm just going to flip through these. There was a seed swap. This was the Fat Mom Slim's photo a day was actually the alphabet. So the first was A, the second was B, Bloom. So I didn't do every day, but some days I did get something in there. There was a die cut. Took the dog for a bath. D for dog. So my cart was in the shop, and so they gave me an edge. So E for edge. This is urologist that my dad sees. F for floor. G for garden. And then some journaling. If I had like some space, I just did some journaling from the journal card from the deluxe journal kit. K, keyhole. I had a donation pickup that day. This is just a piece of the backing from the underlayment for our laminate floor. So L laminate. And then Valentine's Day, we went to Tequila Mama, and I got the green enchiladas, but I forgot to take a picture, so I went on to Tequila Mama's, this was on, my brain just went blank. It's not Facebook, it's not Twitter, oh my gosh. Instagram. Oh my word. So this was on their Instagram, so I just took it, and I of course kept, where it was them and what they said about it, but it was a picture of what I had, so, and it was really good. Picture of my office. We had Panda Express. This is the color of the interior of my house for the most part. So we had gone to look at that since we had gotten the floor done. I wanted to just have that. See if they still had it, make sure that we had that if we needed to repaint anything. Then I was having some tea, so I just started putting the tags on here. I started carnivore that day. It didn't last very long, but still. From the acetate sheet, I had just a strip left over, so I stuck it just behind this picture because this was on, it was completely blank, so I just stuck it there. Again, another tea bag tag. Oop, that kind of actually stayed out. Another tea bag tag. We went shopping for furniture. Met with some of my coworkers at Ted's Montana Grill that Sunday. Then we had a meeting for a few days. So these are about that. It was pictures of my department and things that we went and did as a group. So that's why you won't get to see any of those pictures. Sorry. This was a die cut. And then our furniture was delivered on the 27th. And then the 28th, we actually went to Pigeon Forge. So this was a picture on our drive. I thought it was just gorgeous, so I printed it off. And I didn't want it to be just on plain white paper. After I had punched it, I realized that. So I put some vellum on the back of the paper. Same thing with this picture of us. I just put some vellum on the back. This was actually when I went to drop the dog off at boarding. I had the window rolled down, so she had her nose stuck out, so I just took a picture of that. And then there was a elk that we passed on the way up Newfound Gap from Cherokee to Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. So then this was just a dashboard that I stuck the bow on, and then my weights. And then again, the meal plan was just grocery lists and what we had to eat. Here's where I had the clip, and I actually took some washi tape and taped it on there so it wouldn't come off. There's my book, and then notes, and then this is the journaling card. So I just check them off when I actually use the journaling in my notebook. So I didn't use packing tape this month in February. I actually laminated it, which it doesn't do that great because it kind of separates next to this, but you know, it's all good. So March is my chunky girl. Not quite as chunky as December, but she's a little thick. So let's flip through March real quick. So again, just a pocket in the front with the kit card and the washi. So let's put that in here. And then a sheet of vellum, the calendar, and then my weeklies. Alright, now we're in the dailies. We were in Pigeon Forge, so I just stuck this Hello March card in there because I thought it was cute. We went to the Chuck Wagon Cook-Off. These are some pictures from the Chuck Wagon Cook-Off. And then after the Chuck Wagon Cook-Off, we went to the Great Smoky Mountains Heritage Center. If you've never been there, I highly, highly recommend it. It's in, why can't I ever remember the name of the, Townsend. So it's, if you're in Pigeon Forge, you go through Wares Valley, and it's in Townsend. So it's kind of on the way if you're going to Cades Cove, but it's absolutely worth a stop. The museum is amazing. This is the Cherokee alphabet. They had an activity for children there. I finally got me a walking stick. I've been looking for a walking stick to put my walking stick medallions on that I get when we go camping and different places that I find them. But most of them were like mass produced, and I didn't want that. So at the Heritage Center, I found this one that was made by Jerry Green, who I believe is the father of someone who works there. So I got that for $38, and it was handmade, done by someone local. I was all over it. So these are just some pictures of some of the things through the museum. Beekeeping. This was like a stump bee hive. And this is the Cantilever Barns, just information about that. A spinning wheel, like a cabinet. I had to take a picture of the blue willow. I have blue willow. Blue willow is my thing. And then this was just like an advertisement brochure in those booklets where you get the coupons. I just print this out or tear this out and use it. Same thing here. We went to the creamery. This too, I just cut it out because it has their logo. This was a brochure for the Smoky Mountain Knife Works. I just trimmed it down to size, put it in there. We found this little hole-in-the-wall place called Local Eatery and Grill. And my husband got fried catfish, green beans, and baked beans, I think. And I had the chicken parmesan. He raved about that catfish. So if y'all are ever in that area, try out that place. It was really good. So then the next day we did a few things. We went and ate. I got ducked finally. Woo! Even though I don't have my Wrangler anymore. I have a Grand Cherokee. But it was really just an advertisement because this is what it was attached to. But still, it counts, right? Then we went to Hatfield and McCoy. Oh, we went gem mining. Hatfield and McCoy. I got this. It's a sticker. Like a vinyl, whatever. But I don't want to commit to it staying in here, so I just clipped it in. This, again, is just the brochure for it, and I just cut it down to size. This is our picture. They shuffle you through when you're coming in and, then sucker you into buying all the photos later, which we did. And then that night, there were some fires. They weren't really close enough to us to be a threat to where we were staying, but we could see them over the mountain. So we stayed up for a while and watched that. Actually, there were two. So this one, if you were on our balcony, this one was straight ahead of us, and then this one was actually to our right. This one was more toward Gatlinburg. We went to Frizzle Chicken Cafe, which every time this was the first time we went there, but every time we go to Pigeon Forge, we're like, okay, we need to try that, and we were always afraid it would be like a gimmick, but they had some really good food. Like their potatoes, I don't know if you can see them. Let me show you, because this and this are my pictures. Look at those potatoes, okay? Those are the best, like, home-style potatoes that I've had up there. So then we went, Coal Miner's Daughter is like it's got a bunch of different booths from different people around that make different things, like earrings, and there's some clothing and bumper stickers, all kinds of different things. So I got a pair of earrings. Then we were trying to find just like some roads to ride down, but everything was still closed for the season because it was, March. And most things open up, I think, in April. But we found the Tremont Institute, or the Institute at Tremont, which is off of Tremont Road. And we stopped there. So I was able to I got this. This is my little Wild Republic elk. Listen. So, I love it. Because elk were reintroduced back into the Great Smoky Mountains. So, and that's what this is. This is just the tag off of that. Then we went to Cades Cove. Now, it was kind of drizzly, and it was a little chilly, so there weren't many people there. It was awesome, but it was kind of dreary. So, Cades Cove, the Primitive Baptist Church, you can't really see it because they blend in, and I don't print really great quality pictures to put in here. It's more like I print it on on sticker paper. So, there's deer here. There's a turkey there. And then the Methodist Church, the Missionary Baptist Church, some more deer, the Dan Lawson place, some more turkeys, the Tipton place, Carter Shields cabin, some more deer. So when we got done there, we went to downtown Flavortown, which we were so looking forward to these chicken and waffle sliders, and they were good. They weren't as good as I remember them being for how much we had to pay for them. Same thing with this food. I got this is the trash can nachos, but I can't remember which one it was. Then the next day we went to the Old Mill, and I was I love the old mill. I was looking forward to having the country fried steak or whatever it is. The steak, the fried steak. Because last time we went, it was so, so good. But this time it was kind of dry and kind of gristly. But look at those pancakes. Look at how dark they are. I didn't eat any of my pancakes. So I was kind of disappointed in that. Then for dinner that night, we kept arguing about where to go. We ended up going to Holston's. I wasn't impressed. So this is their mozzarella. And they were like this big. And it was like $8 for those 4 pieces. So, it wasn't bad food. These were really, really good. But there just wasn't a lot of them for what you paid for them. So, and then on the way home, we went home. Newfound Gap Road was closed. So, we went home I-40. And it was really, I guess in my mind, when Helene, all the damage from Helene hit with I-40, I thought it was like 1 or 2 places, but it was like the entire stretch. And it was really surreal and humbling to see how it's still affected. So, that was interesting. And then I just have this bag that I put all my vacation receipts in there. And then we got home. We picked up the dog on Friday. On Saturday, I was going somewhere, I can't remember where, and I stepped on this board and went through the porch. So, and then here's some journaling. Some more journaling. I just took the card and stuck it in there. So we were going camping. We had the windows down, so the wind was blowing in her face in the back seat. So she just has her eyes closed. I thought it was funny. We went to High Falls State Park. So this was a postcard. Their postcards were expensive, so I got one postcard. And I stuck it in here and then just clipped our receipts to it. My sister and her husband came up and went camping too. So these are just some pictures from around our campsite. That night, they were expecting really, really bad weather. Like, to the point the rangers came around and said, if there's tornadoes, you know where the shelter is, which is the comfort station. So, yeah, we did. But that night, I woke up, of course, this is when I woke up. So, it was about 1:50 a.m., right before it was about to hit us. But I didn't wake up again. The storm didn't wake me up. I went to sleep and slept through everything else. And the next morning, usually after a bad storm with winds and things like that, there's limbs and trees and stuff like that on the ground. You can tell there's been a lot of wind, and it wasn't. So thankfully it passed around us. It wasn't as bad as they were expecting it to be. So on Sunday, my sister and her husband went home. We stayed, and I worked from the camper. And then we went and looked at the fishing area. So this was the old powerhouse, and then this was just looking up the river, the Talladega. I know I said that wrong. River. Then we had a fire. We made apple pies with the crescent rolls and the little pie things. We hadn't got our new pass yet, I guess. The Friends, whatever. So we got one, just temporary. And this was our campsite tag. And then I always take a picture when we're leaving. So this is us packed up, ready to go. And then just a picture of the sign for High Falls. So then we're home. The journaling this day was something that made you smile today. And my son had messaged me and asked for pictures of our first dog, which is Sugar. So I sent him these 2 pictures of her. These are blank. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. We had a family reunion. And then we went camping again. So we went camping to Watson Mill Bridge State Park. So again, I just clipped my receipts to this. This was one of the dashboards, and it was a 4x6 card. And I just trimmed the sides off. And then here's the map. And then they have a bridge to the past. It just gives a little bit of the history of it's a covered bridge. So you can see it's one of the covered bridges left. This fire poker stoker I have laughed my butt off every time I say it. It's just funny to me. That's me using it, but it works. My dog sleeping on the couch in the camper. And then these are pictures we, my husband and I and my sister and her husband went and kind of walked around the bridge and took some pictures. So that's what those are. So that was Saturday, and then we all left on Sunday. So this was us getting ready to leave on Sunday. That's us getting ready to leave. I took a picture. They use, instead of using like these cards like this, at this one, they actually use like dry erase. So it's laminated with dry erase, so I couldn't take it with me. So I took a picture of the post there. And then again, the camper all buttoned up, ready to go. And then we got home. And then I had mailed something to someone, so I stuck that receipt on there. And then again, this is just my meal plan and my grocery list. But, so, this vellum sheet up front, I took what I trimmed off of it and laminated it. And I stuck it up just enough so that I could get to my meal plan for that day quickly. So that's what that's for. And then my books and the journal card. And then paper. I need to pull this out and put in this month. Then just blank paper. This is the grid paper and the dot grid paper and the line paper that I pull out of the simple notebooks. See, there's the line paper. So that is the end of my first quarter notebooks. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you.